Evening, and thank you. Welcome to the ordinary meeting of council, Monday the 28th of July 2025. I will start with an acknowledgement of country. Lithgow City Council acknowledges the Wiradjuri elders past and present of the Wiradjuri Nation, the original custodians of the land on which the Lithgow communities reside. The council also extends our respects to our neighbouring nations. Declaration of webcasting. I inform all those in attendance at this meeting that the meeting is being webcast and that those in attendance should refrain from making any defamatory statements concerning any person, councillor or employee, and refrain from discussing those matters subject to closed council proceedings as indicated in clause 14.1 of the Code of Meeting Practice. I note that all councillors are present. Does anybody have a declaration of interest? Oops. We have a confirmation of minutes. Can I? Yes, sorry, Councillor Goodman. Sorry, Councillor, I can't hear you. Could you pop your microphone on?
So I have a declaration of interest in relation to Councillor Evangelides' report on the license for just okay. It's not notice of motion 6.1. Oh no, sorry, 6.2. I have an interest. I'm a director of the Lithgow Workmen's Club. I don't think it's pecuniary. It's not pecuniary. I don't think I'll leave the chambers and I'll stay here, but I won't be voting.
Okay, thank you. Does any other councillor have any declaration of interest? No? All right, thank you, Councillor Goodman. Confirmation of minutes. Confirmation of the minutes of the ordinary meeting of council held the 30th of June 2025. Do I have a mover? Councillor Fredericks. Seconded, Councillor Ring. Is there any opposition to those? I consider them carried. Commemorations and announcements. On behalf of Lithgow City Council, the Mayor expressed sincere sympathy and condolences to the families who have lost loved ones since the last council meeting. Public forum. I understand that Rob White is the first one to speak. If you'd like to come forward, please, Mr. White.
Good evening, councillors. My name is Rob White. I'm speaking on behalf of the concerned Lithgow Community Group Inc. and I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak to you again. In October 2024, this council voted 8-1 against the concept of pumped hydro in the Lithgow LGA. That was a strong and dominant vote and made a very clear statement. 6 months ago, on the 28th of January, this council passed a motion requesting that a submission opposing Lake Lowell pumped hydro be prepared. It was suggested at the time that it would be wise to start this process well in advance. Councillor Ticehurst summarised it fairly clearly when he stated, all this does is allows us to get ready. And yet here we are, half a year later, and to the best of our knowledge, nothing has been done about this yet. The situation has moved from important to more urgent, and I'll explain why. Energy Australia and their new partners, EDF, are on the verge of submitting their EIS now, and I expect that will be within the next month or two. This EIS I would also expect to be a massive document, at least hundreds of pages and possibly thousands of pages, and will take quite a bit of analysis in order just to get through it. Once submissions are opened, the standard process is a 28 calendar day option to submit against against it. That's calendar days, that's not working days. If we take it as working days, that means 20 days, assuming that there's no public holidays in that time. If there are public holidays, clearly it would be less. So you've got 20 days or less to read and digest an enormous document, to create a response, which may be to one of the most significant projects in this area in the last few decades. In my opinion, that is not enough time to prepare a quality submission from scratch. If the submission opened process tomorrow, this council would be caught flat-footed. You won't get much notice about when it is being opened. The risk, of course, is being undermined that the final submission could and would probably be meaningless, or at least of a poor quality. I understand that people say we wait for the EIS, but I will say to you this, there is no need to wait that just to prepare the start of it.
Sorry, Mr. White, I have to ask for an extension. This is Councillor Lamani. Seconder for that? I'll second. Oh, Councillor Fredericks, if there's any opposition to that? No, that's carried. Continue, please, Mr. White.
So whilst there's claims that we wait for the EIS, I've already indicated that this is going to be a substantial analysis and preparation time, which 20 days of working won't be enough for. It has been said before, and I will say again, that the core issues that relate to this project are well and truly known within the area. They include the destruction of Mount Walker, the impact on Indigenous cultural heritage, the risks to the local environment, the adverse effects on tourism and recreation, and the genuine concerns of community members that are both affected and not affected by this. They're already well documented and well understood. So there's ample publicly available information to enable council staff to make a start, not to create the document in its entirety, but to create a framework and a structure that will allow a good document to be presented at the time. Lithgow Council meets monthly, which is typically every 30 to 31 days. In theory, and it's quite possible that a submission could come and go during the process time in between with council meetings, in which case the voice of council becomes absent, and that's not a good thing for such a big project. The council staff, I understand, have expertise, and they also have a precedent with something that was approved 6 months ago. All that is missing at the moment is action. That's the only thing that's missing. We respectfully ask council tonight to direct the preparation of the submission in draft format, using the information that's already available, so that when the EIS is released, the only refinements are required, not creation of a document from the word go. You've already voted against this project. Now is the time to back that position with a well-planned and organised submission process, rather than waiting until the 11th hour. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. White. Is there any other residents that'd like to speak on anything in regards to the business paper tonight? If you wish to, you can come forward now. No? Okay, thank you. I will start with the mayoral minute. Funding approval for Lithgow City Council to restore access to Walgan Valley Road. Last week, Lithgow City Council announced that funding for the restoration of access to the Walgan Valley had been approved in full. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the following: Council administration, who took carriage and submitted the application; the Council for supporting the administration's vision; Transport for New South Wales, New South Wales Recreation Authority, Australian Government National Emergency Management Agency, the New South Wales State Government, the Honourable Jenny Aitchison MP, Minister for Roads and Regional Transport, the Australian Federal Government, the Honourable Catherine King MP, Minister for Infrastructure, Transport, Regional Development and Local Government. But most importantly, I would like to thank the Walgan Valley residents for their advocacy and patience. It has been a long time coming, This is one of the biggest single disaster recovery projects in the country, and it is important to acknowledge that several people played a significant part in securing the funding. This truly was a team effort across the 3 levels of government in partnership with the Walgan Valley community. The recommendation is that Council note the vote of thanks to those mentioned in securing the funding to restore access to Walgan Valley. Any debate on that, councillors? Yes.
Can I just maybe add one more?
Absolutely.
The administration, past and present, have also played a major part as well. Council administration, past and present.
Yeah, absolutely.
So can I add that in?
Yeah, so council administration who took carriage submitted the application past and present. Happy to add that. Any further commentary on this or debate? No? Okay, I'll put it to you. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. We now move on to administration reports. So the first administration report is 2.1, the Local Government New South Wales Annual Conference. Is there any motions, councillors?
Yes, I have a motion. I'd like to move in relation to this, if I may, Mayor.
Yes, Councillor Ring. And is there a seconder?
Well, I probably need to read it out first.
Sure.
The motion is 0.1, that the council appoint the mayor, deputy mayor and councillor Marnie as voting members to the LG New South Wales Annual Conference. 0.2, that the council endorse attendance at the LG New South Wales Annual Conference by Councillor Fredericks as part of her professional development as a non-voting member funded from the training and conference budgets.
Is there a seconder? Councillor Goodwin, thank you. Councillor Ring?
It's normally the mayor and the deputy mayor, regardless of who the deputy mayor is at the time. That'll be sorted again in September. I believe having free experienced councillors there is good. I think it's very important for new councillors to be offered professional development. Councillor Fredericks has offered interest in attending, and I think it'd be a great opportunity for her. Meeting and talking to other councillors and exploring those problems that are shared by all of us is a very valuable experience.
Thank you, Councillor.
And if I could say that the budgets, the training and the conference budgets the last few years have not been fully expended, so we have capacity to actually add an additional person.
Thank you. Before I go to you, Councillor Goodwin, if I could please, I note that we need to endorse a change of the date of the November ordinary meeting to the 1st of December 2025 due to the conference conflicting with the plan. Are you happy to include that?
Yeah, no, sorry, that was my bad in missing it, so we just include that as well.
So
sorry, my apologies.
If we could please, and you're happy with that, Councillor Goodwin? Councillor Goodwin, if you'd like to speak.
Well, I agree with Councillor Ring. I think it's very good to get new councillors down and see what happens at the National Assembly or General Assembly or the conference. And that it would only help her development by going, and the funding would come out of the training budget. I don't have a problem with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Goodwin. Any further debate on this matter? Councillor Marnie?
Like everyone, we're conscious of the costs. My family live about 10 minutes away, so I just want to indicate that I'm happy to forego the accommodation costs as I did last conference because it was part of a broader personal trip. So hopefully that offsets some of the costs, but I also endorse the two councillors' comments that as we have councillors coming into the group, giving them opportunities to be part of these coming together of councillors across the state is a valuable experience. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you. If I could please, Councillor Ring, I've noticed that we also need to include an executive senior staff member.
I'm sorry, we can add that in. I just took that as a given.
So if that's okay, are you happy with that, Councillor Goodwin? Okay. Is there any further debate on this matter?
Just put it.
You're happy for me to put it? Okay, so all those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. 2.2, Councillor Resolution Action Register. We do actually have a recommendation here, councillors. Is someone happy to move this, or would they like to?
I'm happy to move.
You're happy to move that? Okay, so Councillor Ring is moving the administration recommendation. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Evangelides, thank you. Councillor Ring?
I moved this earlier in the term. I think it's a very critical document in terms of governance, to have oversight. I've gone through what's been prepared by the General Manager and his staff. There's a lot of work that's gone into it. And although at times we would like resolutions that are passed in council, be those of our making for our own notices of motions or council reports, we'd like them to go faster. Sometimes the reality is the wheels of bureaucracy move slow. And it's nice to be able to have that record there so we can see where we're up to and keep account of it. And then we can come back and ask questions. We were doing it on the first council I was on, then it fell off. I'm very happy to see it back again, and I appreciate the amount of work that's been done.
Thank you, Councillor Ring. Councillor Evangelides?
I concur with Councillor Ring.
Thank you. Any further debate on this topic? Councillor Marnie?
I just want to acknowledge the work that Councillor Ring's done on this. It's an important tool as far as tracking the progress of council motions and recommendations that have been endorsed by the council. There have been times in the past where they've drifted into some dark corner, never really to be seen again. So I think this keeps this as a transparent way forward. Also, being coupled with the appropriate use of the ARIC committee, so that we're properly reviewing risks for this council. The introduction of internal project tracking systems like Pulse have also been a significant improvement in this term, and the work that goes on through particularly that reporting into the infrastructure committee and other committees is very valuable to seeing projects at risk early in their cycle. So I think there's been a lot of really strong actions, and I applaud the administration for their support of these and actually in some cases initiating them. I think it makes for a much stronger, more transparent council. And again, I'll just acknowledge the work that Councillor Ring did in bringing this forward. And I think people, particularly councillors, have moved resolutions earlier just to be able to track how they're progressing. I think is a valuable tool.
Thank you, Councillor Marnie. Any further debate on this topic? Right reply, Councillor Ring, or
No, just put it.
You put it? Okay. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. 2.3, the draft volunteer policy. Are you happy to move that, Councillor Marnie? Is there a seconder?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Councillor Ring. Councillor Marnie?
I won't speak to this in any great amount. This probably flows on from the previous item, which is this is an item that goes back to the previous term for me as a councillor. Again, I want to acknowledge the staff who have attended to this in a very prompt manner. So I extend that thanks to both Miss Vanessa Browning and also Mr. Sean Elwood. I know there's been some work with the Community Development Committee. Volunteering provides a huge input into our community. Having a policy where it's done safely and volunteers are well supported and resourced. We see it all the time. We're seeing some of the things going on in Main Street at the moment where there's these organic and quite spontaneous coming together of community people wanting to be part of it. I think the majority of councillors here have spent time in voluntary organisations, whether it's organisations like Tidy Towns, the Land Care Associations, local sporting groups. That's what drives a lot of our livability in our community. So for me, tonight's just thanking the staff that put the time into to bring this through in a relatively short turnaround, and I look forward to us developing or keeping and developing further our volunteering in our community.
Thank you, Councillor Marnie. Councillor Ring?
The Mutual Admiration Society continues. I would like to thank Councillor Marnie for the work he did. He was driving me crazy there at one stage, banging on about this policy. And I think I very subtly told him, basically just write it. Put it up as a nom. It's up there. And look, I mean, it's good for councillors too. If there are key policies that we're missing and staff haven't got times, put it up. Write it. We're supposed to be working and leading with the administration, and I think this is a good example of councillors taking the lead on it. And I'm quite happy with the result. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Any further debate on this topic? I'll put the motion. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. 2.4, I've got investment report June 2025. Any motions, councillors?
Yeah,
You're happy to move? Are you moving the recommendation, Councillor Marnie?
yes.
Seconder, please. Councillor Evangelides. Thank you. Councillor Marnie.
Just briefly, Mayor, I appreciate that, again, as Director of Finance and Governance, Ms. Vanessa Browning, I appreciate that when there are discrepancies or points of interest in the report that they're addressed and that's an understanding for the community is in there in writing as far as where there's changes in, particularly in cash in council's bank account, decreased substantially. And I might, if through the chair, Mayor Coleman, I might ask the director to be able to just explain why we've seen that significant change in figures, rather than me put my interpretation over it.
Mrs. Browning.
Through you, Mayor Coleman. So June is typically a large outflow month. You don't have a lot of income coming in. The rates finish on the 30th of May, so you have some lag time over. But generally a lot of payments are due in June, particularly in relation to progress payments. A lot of suppliers invoice for June early. They're trying to get across their end of year as much as we are. So that's generally the reasons behind why June is a negative cash flow month.
Thank you. I'll just make a comment, and again, something that I really appreciate. Hopefully members of the community get visibility over this, but when we talk about those high value supplier payments, essentially projects, something that I think is really valuable is that we're actually identifying where the source of that income comes from. So when people are reflecting on the special rate variation, they can see that money at work and understand where it's playing out in their communities. And that was important for me, that we had a contract with our community when the rates were raised, and that we need to be accountable to our community as to where we're spending them. So I think that's something that I personally appreciate in the reports. Other than that, I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Councillor Marnie. Councillor Evangelides.
I just wanted to agree with Councillor Marnie. I think it's great to see where the money went, where it came from. So well done.
Thank you, Councillor Evangelides. Any questions or debate on this topic? I have a question, if I could, please. On page 14, it states here that there was an amount of money that grant funding was returned as paid to council twice in error. Do we know how, why, when, what?
Through you, Mayor Coleman. It seems that there was a double invoice, and the grant funding body accidentally paid us twice, so we've returned the funds that weren't actually due to go to us.
Thank you. Any further questions or? Anyway. Right, a reply, Councillor Marnie, or you're happy for the motion to be put? Okay, so I'll put that. Oh, sorry, Councillor Fredericks, did you have something? Or Councillor Tyser, sorry, did you have something?
Yeah, thank you. On the bottom of page 14, I just wanted some, with marked insufficient as underlined. I was just wondering whether that two last paragraphs, whether I could get an understanding of what we're looking at there and what we think the shortfall will be in regards to the 30th of June.
Through you, Mayor Coleman. So certainly it will be lower than that $3.5 million. We're still finalising figures from last year, so a lot of payments processed after the fact that need to come back, but also there's income recognised that we haven't received in cash, so we have to do that analysis to work out what actually needs to be restricted. So reserves take a bit of time to finalise at year end, so it is a bit of an unknown, but it should be within the next couple of weeks we have a better and a firmer understanding of that shortfall.
And what was the price of the invoice that you were just talking about, and how long did we have the money for?
I would have to take that on notice in terms of the particulars.
Are you talking about the question? Sorry, Councillor Pastors, were you referring to the question that I asked?
It's
It's
518. Yeah. In terms of the length of time, I'm not sure of that.
Any further questions or debate on this matter? Councillor Martin, are you happy for me to? Yeah, you're right. Okay. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. We have a late report, I understand. 2.5. Has everybody got that? The late report is a call-in report for 81 Martini Parade, Lithgow, construction of 4 dwellings. This was called in by myself and by Councillor Evangelides, I believe. So we're just noting that we're calling it in, I believe. But anyway, councillors, yes, Councillor Evangelides, you'd like to move something?
So do I move the motion, or do I can't make an amendment? Or
what would you like to move first?
I just want to make an amendment to number 2.2 that we do an on-site meeting for the staff, councillors and residents.
Okay, so you'd like that we note the information and we have an on-site meeting.
Yep.
And we note that the report will be submitted to a future meeting of council for the determination. Are you happy with all of that?
Yep.
Yep, okay. Can I have a seconder for that? Councillor Ring? Or Councillor Goodwin, would you like to know? Yes. Yeah, I'll have you seconded if you like. Yep. Is that all right? Yep. Yeah. Councillor Goodwin's happy to second that. So Councillor Evangelides, if you'd like to speak to it.
Yes, so I had a site visit a few weeks back. I think it's a good block for development. There are definitely some issues that we need to look at physically, so a site visit's going to do that. But it's essentially I'm for development, but it does need to have some changes in my eyes. So I think a site visit will be of great benefit.
Thank you, Councillor Evangelides. Councillor Goodwin?
Yeah, my question is in relation to site visits, and I think it's important and have good time frames on site visits. I know we've in the past we've got on the books a couple of site visits that we have to attend, but I've heard no further information about what we're doing with those site visits apart from one question that I've asked.
Are you happy to get an answer now? Mr. Elwood, you'd like to answer that?
Through yourself, Mayor. Yes, we currently have 2 site visits that have been required and have not been scheduled. Both of those, one for the Main Street townhouse development and the other for childcare facility Curtin Place. Both of those we're awaiting some further information from the applicants prior to putting those in play. And the reason for that is so that we have all the information known at that time to provide to the attendees at the site visits. One other consideration that we do have, and that we'll probably have to bring back to council or through the planning working group to have a bit of discussion, is where appropriate, where we can try to tie site visits also into the public exhibition period, which provides additional information and a wider scope. But we do accept that sometimes that is not able to be fitted in with council schedule or when the call-ins are presented back to council. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Are you happy with that, Councillor Goodwin? Is there any further debate on this matter? No? Councillor Evangelides, you happy with me to put it? Yep.
Yep.
Okay, I'll put that to you. All those in favour? All those against, declare that carried. Thank you. Okay. 3.1 Infrastructure Committee meeting minutes, the 8th of July 2025. There is a recommendation here, councillors. What would you like to do?
I'd like to move the recommendation, if I may.
Thank you, Councillor Ring. Is there a seconder? Councillor Marnie? Oh, Councillor Marnie's already there. That's all right. All good. So the General Manager has a comment before. You'd like to go, Councillor Ring? Are you all right with that?
No, I'm fine for the General Manager to make a comment.
Through you, Mayor, just there's an error in the recommendation. It should just be 3 points. Somehow there's an extra 3 that's been put in there, but that's part of 2. So it should be 1, 2, and 3. We will correct that in the minutes.
Is that on the board? Can we have that up?
Yes.
It's on the screen, so that's great. Thank you. Councillor Ring, if you'd like to speak to it.
The infrastructure committee meetings are working very effectively. They go for at least 2 hours. We've had a couple of instances where we've had to have extraordinary meetings, and that may occur in the future moving forward. 1 month we deal with water, wastewater and waste. Next month we deal with infrastructure, roads, buildings, storm drains. But we are actually working at a much higher level than committees in the past. We're not getting into the detail of there's a pothole here, there's a pothole there. Those discussions are taken offline. We are actually spending a lot of time on strategies such as asset management, sewer fix programs, the common lines, which is a significant issue at the moment, and we are having in-depth discussions on all those matters, which I think is very useful for the councillors and in setting strategy and direction for the administration. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ring. Councillor Marnie?
Councillor Ring covered a fair bit that I'm looking to talk to, but I'll be brief. I think the ageing sewer infrastructure and the fact that we don't know what the condition of our total system is a bit of a potential ticking time bomb. I think we'll end up with a similar sort of story to what we found with the roads asset management planning. However, I applaud these interim arrangements where common lines, whilst council isn't accepting that they're necessarily their assets, but it's unclear who installed those assets at the front end. But just while we work through resolutions for the community, because it's important that we can have safe housing. Having the neighbourhood sewerage arrive in your house via failing systems is never okay. And I applaud the staff for their approach here, that we have an opportunity. Most of these subdivisions date back into the early 1900s, so we're clear what happens in modern subdivisions and strata titles setups. These predate those, and so I think it's been good that council's been working with its community to find a pathway forward to resolve these. The end pathway needs to have individual connections. It's how we get there at the end of the day. So again, I think the infrastructure committee's been working well, and appreciate the amount of work that comes into it from staff, because there are some detailed reports that are needed to be prepared. So I'm happy to take it forward.
Thank you, Councillor Marnie. Any further debate or commentary on this matter? No? I'd just like to thank the council for insisting on the infrastructure committee meetings, which are actually monthly, and the councillors that contribute to that dialogue. It's really, really important, and I think we actually do achieve a lot. So I'd like to thank the council who involved themselves in that process. Councillor Ring, do you have any?
No, just put it, please, Mayor.
All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. 3.2, community development minutes. Do I have a mover or do I have any motions, councillors?
I'll move, but I've got an additional point I'd like to add.
Thank you, Councillor Ring. What would you like to move?
Point 3, that the proposal for a health expo is referred to the Health Working Party for consideration.
Thank you, Councillor Ring. I'm happy to second that.
I really have nothing else to add. I think Health Expo could be good for the community, understand their rights in terms of the health system, what's available and what help is out there. But it is a big job.
It is a big job. We've done expos in the past and we've been successful, so I think this is a great way forward. Is there any further debate on this matter? I'll put it to you. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. 3.3, Emerging Economy Committee meeting minutes. Do we have any motions, councillors?
Yeah, I'd like to put up a new motion or recommendation, if I may. Point 1, defer the minutes of the Emerging Economy Committee meeting to the August Council meeting to allow a review of the meeting's recording to rectify several errors. And point 2, that the Council endorse the terms of reference for the Emerging Economy meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Ring. Is there a seconder to this? Councillor Evangelides? Councillor Ring?
There was some significant mistakes made. I think they need to be rectified, but we need to go back and watch the recording to get the wording right. There were 1 or 2 points in there which suit my particular bent, but I don't think it's appropriate to take advantage of that. So I think we need to go back and check the working. That meeting I was in Sydney, so I was on a recording. So although I had my notes, I wasn't taking extensive notes because it's a bit hard when you're on Teams and you've got a lot happening. So I think if we just defer it, we can get them accurate. But I think the terms of reference are fine. Terms of references will work between the committee and with the administration. It became a shared document and it meets both the administration's requirements and the council's requirements. And I would like to say that we have another council who wants to join this committee. So the next meeting we'll be looking at a membership of 7 councillors, which I think is great.
Would you like to move that as part of your motion? That's to include the 7th councillor?
Oh, we could if he's happy to be included now. You happy to be? That Councillor Ray Smith is appointed as a voting member to the Emerging Economy Committee meeting.
Okay. Councillor Evangelides, you're happy with that amendment? Yeah. Councillor Evangelides, would you like to speak to this now? No? Is there any further debate on this matter? Okay. Councillor Ring, you happy for me to put it?
Yep, just put it.
I'll put that to you. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. 4.1, the Delegates Report, National General Assembly. Happy to move, Councillor Ring?
Yeah, I'll move.
Is there any seconder for this?
Yeah, the Mayor.
I'll second it, that's fine. Councillor Ring, if you'd like to speak to it.
I think the General Manager's done a very good report. It's the first time I've been to a national conference. I did get picked up a bug down there. I think we all ended up with it, which wasn't pleasant, but they're very long days. You're looking at 12-hour days. There's a lot of talking. There's a lot of being nice to people, which is not always easy. But it was a very fruitful session. We actually met with 2 ministers, and although it says we only met with 3, we actually met with a senior advisor the week after. We had an online meeting. So effectively we had access to 4 ministers as a consequence of that, and we will start to see the fruits of that in the next few weeks. There's been some stuff, we've been advised of some meetings that are coming up. We're just waiting for some hard dates before we can actually put that out there, but it is starting to pay dividends. We got Lithgow onto the table of net zero for a number of departments, so I think it's very productive.
Thank you, Councillor Ring. I'd just like to say that I did actually ask a question one of the federal ministers, and the question I asked was, why isn't local government included in the Constitution? Because I think that's an important step for actual local government, because if we're included in the Constitution, we actually would remove the middleman per se, because a lot of our funding comes through the federal to the state to us, so we can have a direct pathway to the federal government. It actually would be beneficial to local government. So I just wanted to put that out there. Is there any further debate on this matter? Councillor Ring, you happy to put it? I'll put it. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. Councillor Tysus, you've got a question on notice. Would you like to ask any questions in regards to your question on notice? You're happy with the answers? Okay. Thank you. That's been dealt with. 6.1, notice of motion. Councillor Evangelides, waiver of fees for black and gold. This is your motion.
Yes. I need someone to second it.
Is there a seconder for this? Councillor Ring?
I'll second it, but I don't support it. It's purely
fine.
seconding the item for the purpose of debate.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Councillor Evangelides?
Okay. I'm pretty sure that a lot of the councillors have already sort of thought about their decision, but I'll just ask to have a little bit of an open mind with what I'm about to say. So I'm seeking that Lithgow Council waiver the DSP payment for the Black and Gold Hotel for their upcoming DA application to add 40 hotel rooms. Lithgow Council has the ability to waiver a DSP fee where appropriate. The Black and Gold Hotel allotment is currently not on the DSP plan, and until this plan is revised, I feel the fee can be waived. If a DSP waiver is granted, Council isn't left shortchanged. Council will still profit from contributions, additional rates, and Black and Gold have also agreed to fund a $40,000 low-pressure sewer system to the current inadequate infrastructure. I understand that the DSP plan will soon be revised, and no doubt when it has been, businesses, including Black and Gold, will accept and adhere to future plans knowingly and accordingly. Think about the upcoming projects we have in the next 10 years, or the energy projects, Walden Road, not to mention any form of tourism growth. I can assure you, given their land holding, that this won't be the last DA Black and Gold will be putting in once that DSP plan is updated. There won't be any discussion of fees or debate of waivering fees. When we talk about if they don't pay, someone else has to, which I'm sure a lot of councillors here might make reference to, let's just look at that. This works out roughly to be $10 per ratepayer. That's a one-off payment, not a yearly increase, a one-off payment. Personally, I'm more than happy to pay $10 to add an extra 40 hotel rooms to our region. That's 40 extra people that will spend in local businesses, continue to contribute in the future forever. There is no point in promoting tourism and overnight stays if we don't have beds available. Recently, I had 4 workmen contact me regarding staying at my place, my home, which I Airbnb. I explained that we only booked the whole house, not rooms, and I steered them to the usual accommodation, the Zigzag, the Caravan Park, Black and Gold, amongst others, and they explained that they were all booked out, including every Airbnb in town. So I ended up having 4 workmen book a 7-bedroom mansion, paying at least double of what they would have at a hotel. I mean, I'm happy to take a booking from anyone. They were great guests. The place was perfect. But if they hadn't booked my place, Bathurst was their next option. Now, that's just the reality. That was during the shutdown. Now, to anyone that says if we waiver a fee, we have to waiver it for others. Well, if those others are not currently on the DSP plan, well, yes, I think we should waiver it. And I'll put in another $10, another one-off payment, because that would be another 40 hotel rooms. In the short time I've been a councillor, I've learned that unless we work in these grey areas, and this is a grey area, we have the ability to waiver this fee and encourage them to move forward, I think we should. And the reality is it's $10 per ratepayer, a one-off payment to cover that cost. Now, if there's If there's a 5% chance they won't go ahead with this, that's a loss. That's 40 people that won't spend in our area and they could spend it somewhere else. So, I mean, the recommendation is that I think we waiver this fee for this particular DA and we update the plan, and then there will be no debate regarding waivering fees in the future.
Thank you, Councillor Evangelides. Councillor Ring?
I spent a lot of time on this issue first came up in the first council I was on between 2016 and 2021. The DSP guidelines and policy that we have was only adopted in 2018. The treatment of black gold was very poor at that time. That's 7 years ago. What I would like to point out, that, and Councillor Evangelides is talking about $10 per ratepayer. That's if this council determines that every ratepayer has to fund it, and they don't. You're only putting those charges on those in the sewerage areas, and there's no guarantee that you wouldn't just put those charges onto the Wallerawang DSP or area. So, I mean, those figures are a bit rubbery. But I'd also like to say that the IPART actually has a big role in this. They review developer charges for water supply, sewerage and stormwater in New South Wales. They are responsible for establishing the methodology for calculating these charges, which are levied by water utilities such as Lithgow. IPART's determination are regularly updated to reflect date changes in the market and to ensure fair pricing for new developments. Two key documents that all councillors should be aware of, and preferably at least reviewed, is DQ's 2016 Developer Charges Guidelines for Water Supply, Sewerage and Stormwater, which sets out the formulas that have to be applied, and the Water Directorate Section 64 Determination of Equivalent Tenements Guidelines. Second document I referenced, the Water Directorate's Guidelines, I don't particularly like. They have assessed CET determinations. They've got a whole list of them. However, they're based on the water consumption and usage of major water suppliers, not Sydney, but the Hunter Valley. Our LGA actually uses significantly less water. The last significant drought, we had no drought restrictions. We used less water than what were allocated from the Fish River. So, and I have issues with how they're calculated. And I had several meetings with the General Manager and Senior Executive on this matter, and the staff agreed to look at the water usage at Black Gold to come up with an ET that reflected their usage. The Water Directorate guidelines for motels requires a 0.45 ET of a tenement, but based on the actual usage, that came down to 0.38, creating a saving for this proposal, if it went ahead, and no DA has been submitted at this stage, of approximately 20,000. I think that this is fair and consistent with the guidelines in that it shows an attempt to negotiate. The Carriers Arms and Lithgow paid $334,000 in DSP charges for 64 lots in 2024. No one since the introduction of the DSP have had their fees waived, and I do not think it's a good practice. We have to fund our key infrastructure moving forward. This is a commercial decision. On the last council, when I came back, there was a proposal brought back for one of the not-for-profit aged care facilities. That was not for the DSP. That was to waive some of council's DA charges, which we did. And under those circumstances, I have no problem. But this is a commercial decision. We need to be commercial in it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ring. Any further debate on this matter? Councillor Fredericks?
I would actually like to offer an amendment, please.
Yes, what would you like to move?
Due to Black and Gold being outside of the DSP plan zone, council enter into a good faith and transparent negotiations with Black and Gold to come to an agreement of a fee prior to the submission being entered.
Thank you, Councillor Fredericks. Is there a seconder? Councillor Tysos, Councillor Fredericks? Would you like to speak to that?
From my understanding, because they are outside of the DSP plan zone, it does give our administration team the ability to negotiate a fee instead of charging them the full amount they would to those that are inside the DSP planned zone. I honestly believe most of our executives and that will enter into this in good faith, and hopefully they would be able to come to an agreement that suits all parties. Because I'm sorry, not every ratepayer is going to be able to afford an extra $10 a year on their fees.
Thank you, Councillor Fredericks. Councillor Tassos?
Thank you, Mayor. I think if this recommendation were to succeed, it creates too many problems, including the possibility of having a rescission motion or where council can't do anything for the next 3 months. So I think Councillor Fredericks has the correct recommendation, the amendment, to become the recommendation to where the council and the developer try and negotiate terms prior to the submission of a DA. And if it can't be done, it can't be done. But the reality is it's they are talking about some $40,000. So it might be possible that that becomes a fee depending on what negotiations occur. But if they're done in good faith, I'm sure both sides can hopefully come to a resolution to get the project submitted before the council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tassos. Yes, Councillor Evangelides?
I won't support the amendment because they've already been through that process. So council have actually been good. They've communicated. They've offered a discount. It's close to over $100,000. I think it was 140 when they negotiated down. So that's already taken place. So that and can I confirm that through you, Mayor?
Absolutely. Can we have some confirmation in regards to what Councillor Evangelides is saying? Mr. Trapp, would you like to take this on?
Through you, Mayor, yes, we did try to work with the owners of Black Gold to come up to a price through the similar process to what Councillor Ring was talking to, trying to base it on actual usage and discount that rate as opposed to the Water Directorate's guidelines. But yeah, we have gone through that process. Yeah.
So I would vote against the amendment, and I'd prefer that we just vote on the original motion and decide tonight, so that way we've got clarity.
Thank you, Councillor Evangelides. Any further debate?
Yeah, just a point of order, Mayor. Just in regards to what Councillor Evangelides is saying, that negotiation was done by the staff. That was not an order or a request of the council laws. We're going to decide the DA. So it's appropriate that it's not a matter of putting it back to the staff, it's putting it back to the councillors, where we're saying we're asking for negotiations between the council, more negotiations, and if it can't be resolved, we're going to have that decision whether we're going to waive it or not. We're not going to make a decision tonight. I don't think it's appropriate. I haven't seen the DA. Why would I be waiving anything?
Could I ask for clarification, please, Mayor,
Yes,
on how
Councillor
that is a point of order and how it relates to the Code of Meeting Practice? That is an opinion. It's not a point of order.
Councillor Ring, it isn't a point of order, but we've had the opinion, and he's entitled to his opinion. So we'll move on from there. Is there any further debate on the amendment? I just have some questions before we vote, if I could, please, because I need to understand as well. The questions that I have is that recently we had an announcement in regards to Green Spot. They've, planning proposal, which has been rezoned under the state significant rezoning policy. Is Green Spot required to pay this fee? If I could have an answer for that, please?
That's correct, yep. The development site there would have similar charges applied to them at that point in time when that comes before council. That would have a new DSP just because of the scale of it and the amount of infrastructure that would need to go in there to service that. But yeah, they would have the charges applied whether it's residential, commercial or industrial lands.
So they have to pay as well?
Yeah.
Can I also ask another question, if I could, please? The subdivision that was approved in Lawarrawang last month, do they have to pay this fee as well?
That's correct.
So they have to pay as well?
They'll have to pay.
Okay, thank you. I just want to get that clear in my head. All right. Is there any further commentary or debate on the amendment? Okay, I'll put the amendment. All that's in favour of the amendment? All those against? Declare that lost. We go back to the original motion. So, Councillor Evangelides, there's still debate to happen on this. So is there any further debate on this matter? Councillor Goodwin?
Mayor Coleman, just through you to Mr. Trapp, if possible.
Yes.
If we were to waive the fees, can you just explain who would pay for the fees? I know that's been said, but for the people and for us again.
Thank you, Councillor Goodwin. Mr. Trapp?
Through you, Mayor Coleman. So any waiver of fees or a reduction in the fees would have to be spread across the sewerage connections. So all the sewer access charges would then have a cross subsidy applied across each of their rates notices. So it would be divided up by the amount of connections that are either serviced by that same service area, in Mayoral and Lithgow being the Wang system, or across the entire rates base for the sewer system.
Councillor Goodwin, further commentary?
No, just thank you. I'm certainly not comfortable with a commercial entity having a waiver. If it was for a non-for-profit or something like that, but yeah, that's my opinion.
Thank you, Councillor Goodwin. Is there any further commentary or debate on this matter? For me, I have an issue in regards to who's going to pick up the tab. My concern is that the mums and dads, they're going to pick up the tab. The pensioners, those who are fixed incomes, are going to pick up the tab. For me, that's too many unknowns in regards to where's the cost shifting going. Black Gold Motel are managed by a very hard-working, intelligent business family team, and I can't imagine that they wouldn't consider a business venture without actually looking at how much it would cost them. They have commercial success, and this would be a commercial success. So for me, not knowing who's going to pick up the tab per se is something that I can't support at this stage, but that's just for me. Is there any further debate before I give Councillor Evangelides the right to reply? Councillor Evangelides?
Thank you, Matt. So the DSP is a council document, and Black and Gold are not on the plan. And until they are on the plan, any developer would see a way of working the system. That's what developers do. And it's a council document. The green spot will be on the DSP plan because it'll be updated. For you, Mayor, with the Valera Wang, were they on the DSP plan?
That's a good question. Can we have a response to that? Which one?
The one you referred to.
To the planning proposal, which has been rezoned state significant?
Yeah, the one
that one?
you
the
referred
first one? There's two.
Yeah,
so
okay.
The first
Both
one?
of them.
Both of them, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we have a response to both? Mr. Joe?
Through you, Mayor, I'll just ask for a bit of clarity. So you're referring to the green spot site being in
No.
the DSP area, or
Yeah, no, the green spot I know, but that's the future, so that'll be updated by the time they do it. I'm talking about the two the Mayor referred to earlier.
So the Barton Street one that we...
yeah, that one is in the DSP area.
Yep. And the other one?
And is Green Spot in the DSP area?
Well, no, we
Green
already discussed green spot.
No,
Oh.
that would be so. The green spot area and the old Valera Power Station site is not within the DSP area, largely because of the zoning. So because the land zoning at the time of the DSP being created, and it does have to be a living, breathing document, at the time of its creation in 2018, it wasn't envisaged that it would have development that would be serviced by council. And so it wasn't included in the DSP area. So anywhere that we would look to service, we would include in there, so we could recoup capital costs for our infrastructure. Otherwise, it's not included.
Yeah. But it will be updated.
It will be, absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Yes.
So that goes back to my point of the other examples were on the plan, so the developer was fully aware of them. It's a council document, and Black and Gold aren't on it. And as I said, each ratepayer would be paying $10 as a one-off payment to help waiver this fee. We have to. I mean, it all sounds great not to want to hit people for $10, but I feel that we need to sort of think outside the box a little bit. I don't see them as, I don't care whether they run a highly successful business or whether they break even. The fact is there's a loophole there that they are in their right to ask for the fee to be waived And the reality is it's costing each ratepayer $10 as a one-off payment to add 40 hotel rooms that will bring 40 people pretty much every night, because for the next 10 years there's going to be an accommodation shortage. And until that plan's updated, I think they have the right. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Evangelista. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? All those against? The motion is lost. Thank you. Councillor Evangelidis, you've got another motion here. Liquor licence for the Union Theatre. I understand? Yep.
Do I have to get a seconder first?
I'll second it for the purpose of debate.
Cool. Thank you. I'm seeking that Lithgow Council apply for a liquor licence for the Union Theatre. Our council are missing an additional income source by not installing and operating a liquor licence at the Union Theatre. Each event would provide income and seek to help establish the Union Theatre as a functional and professional operation. Talent managers don't want the hassle of organising catering or drink sales. They're concentrating on their talent. The union is treated in a way like we're booking a scout hall. When we held the comedy festival at the union, we cleared $1,000 at the bar, and that was with just 120 people. The union has 300 seat capacity. When Undo, the comedian, performed there, that could equate to $2,000 to $3,000 at the bar. That's money that would go to other things in council. It's a missed opportunity. I spoke to the Bathurst Council venue manager, and I said, to ask him about, and he's the licensee. So it just requires one member of staff to become the licensee, and we can get the Union Theatre license, and we can make, every time there's an event there, we can make money out of it. In fact, Bathurst Council not only manage the bar, that they also do their own ticketing, and they even make a cut out of the merchandise sold there. We need to maximise our assets. I see the old photos of the Union Foyer, and I'm jealous. I mean, the functions, the gatherings that had life. I think we have the right people on staff, and the licensing. I mean, I mentioned this when I first became a councillor, and it's been 6 months, and I mean, everyone's got more important things to worry about. So I just want to get this across so we can start making the Union Theatre a professional operation, and get it happening again.
Thank you, Councillor Evangelidis. I actually see that this has merit in it. I just feel as though the nuts and bolts need to be worked out a little bit better, but I actually believe that there's actually merit in this idea. Is there any further debate on this matter? Councillor Ring?
Look,
sorry, Councillor Statham, you were going to say something?
Yes, Mayor Coleman. There's been plenty of people rent the union or hire the Union Theatre that has a licence to sell alcohol. We did that with the opera. We've done it with other, through the years, we've done it with other occasions. So there's no reason why, I'm not saying don't get a liquor licence, but there's no need to go into a lot of trouble. You just call the police and they'll come and identify what needs to be given to you as a backup for your protection, and have the insurance and have the hire fee. I don't know that it's really worth the amount of money it would cost to actually hire somebody regularly to have somebody selling tickets or receiving the money. I think that you can go and get a licence very easily. We've done it at Meadow Flat many times, in Portland many times, and we've certainly done it at the Union Theatre.
Thank you, Councillor Statham. Councillor Ring?
My understanding is a liquor licence costs about $800. I was originally going to move to have this sent to the Events Working Party, but after having a few discussions with people that know about this sort of thing, for $800, I think it's worth potentially getting. I think we should look at it. It will save other organisations having to run around getting someone to sponsor them. It gives us a greater range of activities that may or may not be conducted there. I believe it's an annual license. If it's not successful, you don't renew it. But I think there is merit in it. And yeah, no, I'm going to support it.
Thank you, Councillor Ring. Any further debate on this matter? Councillor Marnie?
Look, initially I thought I needed a little bit more work to land, but I've also spoken to people. But I do pick up on a point that Councillor Statham's making, in that, and I don't want to muddy the water, so if I am, you can tell me to leave for another day, another discussion. We've got a series of venues across the city which we do use for community organisations providing a licence through having RSA and having all the appropriate points in place. I wonder if the mover of the motion would maybe accept a second point. If it just clouds the water, I'm happy to be told to leave for another day. But whether we refer licensing in general across to the events committee so that we can work out how we can do things. How do we do the Catholic ball? How do we do the Lithgow show? How do we do the opera when you've got people who are imagining an idea and bring it forward? And but I've grown to be more supportive over the last few days about that singular venue, us being the licensee. I can see the value there, and I appreciate Councillor Evangelidis'. He's got a thinking style which is looking at how do we create income streams rather than just rates, fees, and charges. Like there's only so much you can keep going back to the ratepayer to ask them to put their hands in their pockets for. So I think this has some real potential as an income generator. It may in fact really reinvigorate the Union Theatre when it's coupled with your next motion. So I just ask whether that is appropriate to put a point 2 as an amendment.
And that's actually an amendment. Or Councillor Evangelis, would you like it to be referred to the group for the working events group so that we can work out the nuts and bolts?
Not the Union Theatre licence, but how we license.
How we license all of it. How we have a general discussion.
I would prefer we don't make any change to the motion. Licenses are for a particular building, so we can definitely discuss everything else regarding other venues. So you want to put
a point 2 in regards to the other matters, Councillor Evangelidis? What,
I think we just keep this really simple and we can raise it another day.
Okay.
You want to bring it back as a notice of motion?
Yeah, I'll bring it back on another occasion so we don't muddy the water unnecessarily.
Not a problem. Mr. Elwood would like a comment, if that's all right. Councillor Evangelidis, it is your motion. You're happy for, Councillor, Mr. Elwood?
Thank you, Mayor, through yourself. Just to give and also a consideration and update. Council administration is looking also at how we can streamline a number of the other considerations across different types of licensing, such as being discussed, traffic management plans and the costs associated with that, some of the other costs associated with how and the process for bookings of systems, and the events working party is going to be one of the main means of having those discussions and bringing proposals forward as well. So all of these elements on how best to deliver business improvements and ease of access for bringing a lot of these facilities into a more adaptive use and more streamlined use is one of our key criteria at present with the new team we have looking at that. So just thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Elwood. Any further commentary or debate on this matter? All right. Councillor Evangelidis, are you happy for me to put the motion? Yes, you can do right on the clock.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, the motivation for this is an income stream, clearly. It's not hard to do this, and I prefer that we implement it as soon as possible because everything sort of takes time. But yeah, it is just $800 a year, and I'm pretty confident to make that in one night. So, yeah, it'd be great if we could just decide tonight, and that way we can move on to other things.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. Councillor Evangelidis, 6.3. This is your notice of motion. Lithgow City Council appoint a venue manager and booker. Over to you. Do you have a seconder? Councillor Marnie?
Thank you, Mayor. As I said before, I don't feel we're maximising our assets to generate income for the LGA. I acknowledge the director's comments, and I think we're well and truly onto it. I suppose I just sort of want it to happen sooner rather than later, and they take care of a lot of other things that are, I suppose, much more important. So I'm just bringing focus on things that I kind of know about and my expertise. And in this motion, we don't have an active booker or a venue manager for our council-owned venues. An online booking form is kind of one of the most inadequate ways of encouraging events and talent managers, and wedding planners, and the business community. We're in competition with every regional area for everything and anything. We need to compete. When I first moved to the area, when I first went to West Bank House, I was pleased to hear that they did weddings. I thought it was a perfect location, extensive grounds, parking, space for a marquee, hugely photogenic, and even an old trainer for the kids to play on. But I mean, guess how many weddings West Bank House did last year? None. This year they have one in November. Now, I mean, that has to change. Recently, Sarah Blasco performed in Katoomba and Bathurst. In Bathurst, she performed at the Keystone 1889 venue, which has a capacity of 200 people. That's 100 less than the Union. What a booker would do, a booker would see that she's performing at those two venues and ring the management up and say, we'd love you to come to Lithgow. Look at this great venue. And there are certain artists that won't perform it at RSL, but every artist would love to perform in a historic theatre, especially a renovated one. We could even waive the hire fee. We can attract them. Next minute, we've made $2,000 at the bar, and we've brought an ARIA award-winning performer to Lithgow. I mean, we're talking about activating the nighttime economy. At the moment, we can't leave that to the private sector. We've got the major pub in town closed. We're in a unique position where we've got a venue, a renovated venue that we got from grant money that could become a destination. The problem with the Union, it's not on people's radars. It's sort of like there should be something there every fortnight or at least monthly. I mean, this is something we can do about. When the comedian Ando sold out the Union, I think he had 2 tickets left. We made $800 for a booking. We could have made 4 times that if we had the bar operating, in reference to what I was talking about before. Having a direct contact to a booker, and that's someone's name, that's actively seeking and canvassing opportunities. We have a few people on staff which would be fantastic for this role. And they could cover all our venues. Now, this isn't a full-time job. It's like an hour a day at most. It's just a way we need to increase our assets, get money in, and, we are in a unique position where we've got a venue in the Union, but S Bank House for weddings, and then a number of other venues. So my recommendation is that we appoint an active venue booker manager for our venues and remove the online booking form. I mean, when we first did the comedy festival, we struggled with the online booking form. If we had a name and a number, everything could have been done very, very quickly. I hope you support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Evangelidis. Councillor Marnie?
Okay, I'll talk to a couple of things quickly. I'm assuming you're talking to the bookable program, the online program. I think that's very good for particular purposes. I think for the sporting groups, bookable's been an improvement on what was in front of it before. So I know that goes through Mr. Edgecombe's team, and there's staff who have been very helpful, because I've used it more from a sporting point of view. I'm seeing you're focusing in, Councillor Evangelides, more on our sort of the top end of our venue. So S Bank is a historic house. Union Theatre is a recently restored and a really great space. Whether some of that booking sits in someone like Mr. Elwood's section in the events programming that we do have people interplaying, and I, and applaud the work Councillor Statham did with the opera. That wouldn't have happened without a lot of the work you've talked to, Councillor Evangelides. It doesn't happen by just asking someone to go onto an online form and I've got an idea how about an opera and we'll do it at the Union Theatre. It needs all that human relationship and work. So I'm supportive of where you're going again. I think it challenges us as a council to rethink how we're using these premier venues, but the general hall booking and the sports ground bookings would still come through that online system. But these, really high value venues, that's where you need the human interface going on there. So I'm happy to support your proposition, but maybe with that understanding that there will need to be a bit of rejigging. We obviously just can't, as a council, ask the general manager just to keep building the structure and adding pieces on all over the place. So they've got to go away and have a look at that resourcing of this function. But I'm supportive of your idea, and a particular fan of Sarah Blasco's. I would have rather had the opportunity to see her in the Union Theatre. But anyway.
Thank you, Councillor Marty. Councillor Ring?
Yeah, I'd like to move an amendment.
Yes.
If I may.
Yes, what would you like to move?
That Lithgow City Council refer the issue of maximising the financial return on its venues to the Events Working Party.
Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Statham. Thank you, Councillor Statham. Councillor Ring?
I fully support the intent of what Councillor Evangelides has said, but I believe we're crossing over into operational matters. It's the General Manager's role to actually determine the structure under him. We've already had a restructure brought to Council. We've adopted it. I'm not sure that Councillor Evangelides is actually wanting a new position, but it's not clear. I think we need to have a broader discussion on how we can maximise it and how we can do it. But I don't know the resourcing levels. We all know that Council is under-resourced in terms of the number of key vacant positions. And we need to ensure that the right person has the capacity to do the work. So I think having that general discussion in the Events Working Party is good. That could then make a recommendation back through, I think, community development to Council on a plan moving forward. Or the administration could just actually implement. I don't think they need a Council resolution if we actually come up with something useful and workable. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Statham?
I think, we've got to walk before we crawl. Crawl before we walk. So in this particular instance, I just don't think at the present moment we need a booking agent on a weekly basis or a daily basis in particular. And I'm very supportive of anything cultural in our town, for sure, definitely. However, I think that it is operational, and I think the council staff should put some ideas forward to us as councillors to consider what would be the best.
Thank you, Councillor Statham. Councillor Evangelides, and then Councillor Goodwin.
I don't want to support the amendment. This isn't rocket science. This is really just allocating one of the staff. We have a full-time event planner, manager on staff. We do 2 big events a year and a few scattered ones. So for me, I would prefer we just vote on it tonight. We pass it and then management can implement it how they see fit. I don't want to micromanage this. And I'd like to change the recommendation if I can remove the online booking form. If I can, I don't know how to do that, but anyway.
We're dealing with the amendment first.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Councillor Evangeline, we'll deal with the amendment first.
Okay,
and then
cool.
We'll come back
So
to you.
I would prefer we don't vote for the amendment. I want to get this done quickly. Like I said, it's not rocket science. It's a very simple process, and the sooner we start, the sooner we can get the union happening again.
Thank you, Councillor Evangelides. Councillor Goodwin?
Yeah, Mayor Coleman, I agree with both Councillor Ing and Councillor Evangelides. I think we need to get moving on this, but I think it should go back to a meeting where we can work out who is the best person. I think Sydney Airport's first flight is going to occur early next year. And we're only an hour and a half away, or less than an hour and a half away from Sydney. And what are we doing in relation to moving forward with all of those people that are going to come to that area? We're not far from there. We should be looking at maybe even an economic development officer full time or something like that to bring new residents, new businesses, and tourists to the town. So I think bringing it back to work out who the best person is and what the best way to go about it would be, and then that would bring it back to a committee meeting and not delve into the realm of operational.
Thank you, Councillor Goodwin. Do I have any further debate on this matter? All right, I'll put the amendment. All those in favour of the amendment, please raise your hand. Thank you. Against? The amendment becomes the motion. You do have right to reply on your original motion, Councillor Evangelides, if you wish to speak. The amendment is now the motion, but you still have right to reply on your original.
Okay. The problem about bringing it to events thing is then we are instructing operations. So I don't see any point. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? All those against? Declare that carried. Thank you. Business of great urgency.
Mayor, I'll
Councillor
take
Money?
your advice on this. I've just had a number of people come to me over the last few days about the condition of Piper's Flat Road, just that it's losing its seal and we're into the substrate. I appreciate it may not be something that needs to be done tomorrow, but it's certainly something that needs urgent attention. If I could ask for that, please.
Thank you, Councillor Money. We're happy to take that on notice. Mr. Edgecombe, can you take that on notice, please, for Councillor Money and get back to all of the councillors? That'd be
Thank you.
much appreciated. Councillor Fredericks.
I have been contacted by quite a few people. Is it possible at some point to have a report written up to do with the funding for Waggon Valley? People are wanting to know exactly how much the Commonwealth and state are contributing and how that's all going to play out. A lot of people are a bit nervous because there hasn't been a big boo-ha about it. It's just come out from council. So there is nervousness in the community.
Yeah, we'll work through that. Some of it is in confidence, so we'll work through that and see what we can do. If you're happy with that, we'll take that away and come back to you. You happy with that? Yep. Councillor Statham?
I've just had some information given to me, the serious nature of the Upper Nile Road. A vehicle has been mangled. Our grid last week did that to our grid last week due to potholes for sure. 13.5 grid. I don't know what that means, unfortunately. I don't know. And also, sorry, I've only just received this. Anyway, the roads, some photographs here, and the Richardson family on behalf of other people down there up on Upper Nile Road, very, very in a serious state at the moment. There's complete pool of water across the road.
Okay, so that's Upper
Nile Road.
Upper Nile Road in KP Valley. Okay, well, Mr. Edgecombe will look at that for you, Councillor Statham. We'll take that on notice as well for you.
Thank you.
We'll go from there. Is there any further? Councillor Smith?
I'd like to know Council's position on something which I've only noticed in the last few days. The rail yards up in Lithgow are up for sale. Where are we standing with that?
We don't have any position on that at the moment, but my understanding is that that's private enterprise. Is that correct? Can you make a comment on that? Yeah.
Just very briefly, the limit of our engagement is to the extent of contacting people who might be interested in a purchase. to try and encourage them to put bids in if it suits their purposes. That's as far as we've
So
got at this point.
basically, we're facilitating. Is that correct? Yeah. Thank you, Councillor Smith. If there's no further business, I'll close the meeting. Thank you. 7:54. Thank you, councillors. Travel safely home.